Welcome to Knapp Online. Knapp Online is a secure, web-based accounting and bookkeeping system. Let's go over some key benefits of Knapp Online. First of all, it is completely free. There are no monthly or annual fees. Since Knapp Online is web-based, the system can be accessed from virtually any device with an internet connection, such as a laptop, tablet, or cell phone. There is no need to install any software, so you don't have to maintain and transfer a regional computer. With Knapp Online, you have the ability to upload electronic images and receipts for every payment and deposit. By storing these files electronically, there is no need to store boxes of paperwork. Since all transactions are entered by the treasurer, there is no need to mail in the MDRF because your Knapp representative can view the coding that has been entered with each deposit. Another benefit is that you can print checks locally from your printer. Checks can be purchased online through a website called CompuCheck.com. In order for checks to print correctly, a specific check format is required. At any time, you can view and export reports in a PDF or Excel format. In these reports, you have the ability to compare the current year to your budget or last year. There are online instructions at the top of every screen with either step-by-step instructions or a short how-to video. This way, treasurers do not have to rely on certain times to get training. They can get questions answered related to the specific function they are working on at any time. Using Knapp Online, you can break down your income and expenses by adding categories or sub-accounts. This is an optional feature, but some common uses include tracking seasons or additional details to expense items such as landscaping, paint, or trash under field expense. Here is a sample report if you utilize this feature. This report shows our income and expenses for our spring season. It's compared to our budget and provides more detail for field expenses. I will show how easy it is to run reports in a few minutes when I log into the Knapp Online system. For security, access is granted to currently registered volunteers listed on the board in EAYSO. Positions with access include SDs, ADs, RCs, and treasurers. Auditors listed on the board have access to view reports and transactions. This makes transitioning to a new treasurer much easier because once the new treasurer is assigned the board position of treasurer in EAYSO, they will have access to Knapp Online. Let's log in. This is the Knapp Online login screen. If you would like to test the system, there is a demo site located here. To log in, use your EAYSO email and password. This is the Banking and General Ledger screen. Most of the functions that treasurers will use can be found here. First, I want to point out the online instructions I mentioned earlier. Help with Knapp Online gives you step-by-step written instructions on how to perform each task. Or you can select the video instructions to watch short how-to videos. Some key functions that will be used regularly include record payments and deposits. Since this is not online banking, all transactions must be entered in manually, including bank fees, NSF checks, and all types of deposits. But this is a very easy process. Let's enter a payment. Select Record Payments. Notice that within any of these screens is a direct link that will take you to instructions for that specific function. Let's enter a payment to Bob's Storage. First, you would select the date you issued the check. Then I enter the check number I used, which is 2698. If I was going to print this check later from my printer, I can check this box. I'm going to keep the Pay To as miscellaneous, and I'll enter the name Bob's Storage. The system will default to the main checking account. Here is where you select the Knapp account code. As you can see, there's a drop-down that lists all deposits and expenses for you to easily reference. I can either enter the number or select from the drop-down of accounts. I'm going to type in the number 5140, storage fees. Earlier I mentioned a key benefit of Knapp Online is that you can organize your accounts your way. I mentioned creating categories and sub-accounts. These are called dimensions in Knapp Online. I want to separate fall and spring expenses, so I created a Type 1 dimension and I will select it for this transaction. I will enter the amount and add the item. You can add multiple line items to any check or deposit. In the transaction memo field, I will say these are for my spring storage fees. My final step is to process the payment. My check has been recorded, and now I will attach a copy of my invoice. Select Add an Attachment. Then simply add a description and browse your computer for the electronic image of the invoice. Now my payment has been recorded and the invoice is attached for future reference. Deposits are done the same way as payments. Let's enter a deposit from our spring registration event. Select Record Deposits. Remember, with any of these screens is a direct link that will take you to instructions. I will first select the date of the deposit. I'm going to keep the option Miscellaneous and type in Registration Event. The system will again default to the main checking account. I'm going to select the NAP account code 4005 Player Registration Fees. Like I did for my payment, I'm going to select my spring dimension. I will enter the amount and add the item. In the Transaction Memo field, I will type Spring Registration Event. My final step is to process the deposit. I will again add an attachment. This time, it is my deposit slip, which I have already scanned and saved. Now my deposit has been recorded and the deposit slip is attached for future reference. I want to mention a few other functions in the system, but I won't go into detail. Print checks will allow you to view or print a series of checks entered earlier from the Payments function. You can enter your annual budget here so that when running reports you can make sure that you stay on track. Monthly bank reconciliations can be done by selecting Reconcile Bank Account. You can search and then edit a transaction by using this function or completely delete it by voiding. Another key benefit of NAP Online is the reports that you will be able to view. Some reports that you might find helpful include the Profit and Loss Statement and the Bank Reconciliation Detail Report. Let's look at how easy it is to run and view a Profit and Loss Statement, which is similar to your NAP Summary Report. I will select Export Financial Reports and then Profit and Loss Statement. In this example, I want to see the current month for my spring season. I will select the dimension Spring from the Dimension 1 dropdown. You can see both my deposit and payment that I made earlier. Since I use dimensions, I want to show you what a report looks like using all my dimensions for the full fiscal year. I will change the start date to July 1st and then select all dimensions from the dropdown. Here you can see the income and expenses for both the fall and spring seasons. If you are more familiar with accounting systems, you can use Accounts Receivable, Accounts Payable, and Items and Inventory tabs. But most of the functions needed to track your income and expenses will be found here on the General Ledger screen. If you would like to test NAP Online, I highly suggest you log into the demo site located here. This was a brief overview of the NAP Online system. To get NAP Online set up for your region, email naponline@support.ayso.org.